You reported that the Warriors now expect Kevin Durant to return midway through the finals. What's your sense of midway? Is that Game 3 or Game 4?
Yeah, the way my sense is that, I spoke with a couple, members of the organization. They felt like Game 3 could be a possibility, but they felt like it was a more stronger possibility that it would be Game 4. And Steve Kerr announced on it was Wednesday, that Kevin Durant was officially cleared to resume on-court basketball work, which that's, the first time that it would, that would have been able to occur with that calf injury, since the calf injury. But, I was told that he actually resumed on-court basketball activities 3 days prior. So he ramped it up before anybody really knew, and he's getting on pace. And a couple of his teammates feel like he's almost ready. He felt like just sick to his stomach last night watching that game in the finals of Game 1 and not being able to play. And so it's looking like 3 or 4, but most likely Game 4. But I also was told this, I want to say this, that the Warriors do not feel at all that he would not come back at all during his finals run. And I thought that was a lot of speculation, people not knowing if he was only going to come back. He'll be back. They expect him mid-series.
Chris Haines joining us. All right, so with that in mind, if he's coming back mid-series, what do you think is a reasonable expectation for him when he does come back? In other words, can he just pick up right where he left off, or is there going to be a transition phase?
There's going to be a transition phase. I mean, remember before he went out with the injury, they kind of altered their offense, and if the ball was going through him. And, he was putting up crazy numbers. Stephen Curry took a secondary role, and, he did that admirably. But I don't think when he comes back, they'll be able to go right back to that. So I think when it's all said and done, I think when he does return, I don't expect a minutes restriction or anything like that. I think they're going to try to get him as conditioned as possible, make sure, he's close to 100% as possible, and they're just going to throw him out there. And I think they'll play it by feel to see how he's looking out there, see if he can get back to his dominant self in a matter of a pretty short window.
Chris Haines is my guest. All right, so Golden State, as you might imagine, they didn't appear panicked when they were talking to the media after the game. How do you think they go about processing what just happened in Game 1?
I think I really do believe them. That's the sentiment I got. There wasn't a lot of panic in that locker room. You go in there, there wasn't really any sad faces or angry faces. The only angry face really was DeMarcus Cousins, because he wants more minutes. He wants to play, but that was his first game back, and he understands that. But they really feel like this is a team that they haven't played, the last couple of years. Draymond Green said, last time they played, he was out, Steph was out. So they just, it's not a lot of familiarity with this team. It's an Eastern Conference team. They only play them twice. So it was a filling out process. Draymond Green spoke to him to the side. He equated it to boxing. First couple of rounds, you just filling the match out, and then you see where you can strike. So I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to look back at the film today and try to assess where their weaknesses were, where they had some success at. But I think they feel like with the poise they have and the championship pedigree they have, they're not going to allow themselves to get too flustered. But I will say this, Jim, Toronto is for real, man. They are for real. They weren't intimidated by the moment. I picked Golden State in 6. I really wanted to pick Golden State in 5, but I just felt like, let me just give Toronto a little bit more respect. But, man, this series has the potential to go the distance.
Hey, listen, they're no joke. That's no fluke. I mean, this is not surprising to me at all that they won that game and won it the way they did. Now, I can't sit here, Chris, and say that I knew that Siakam would go 14 for 17, but at the same time, if you know anything about that guy, you can't be really surprised by it either. In fact, what did Golden State make of the game that Siakam just turned in?
Well, that's what Draymond Green, he put it on himself. He said he got to take him out. And, if you're looking at his production, I mean, Pascal, he was literally perfect. Played a perfect game. He's not going to play those type of games. Each and every game. So the Golden State Warriors feel good about the way they defended Kawhi Leonard, and they wanted to make other people, score and produce, and that happened. You saw Marc Gasol hit a couple of threes. He ended up with 20 points. they're going to live with that. And they think Draymond Green he's going to take that's the matchup I'm going to look for in game 2. He said he had to take him out, and Draymond Green considers himself one of the best defenders to ever play. And so I don't think Pascal's going to be as efficient as he was in game 1. I don't think maybe people should expect him to. But I think if Golden State sticks to the game plan of trapping Kawhi, getting the ball out of his hands, and trying to make others beat him, I think they feel like that's the best formula for success.